up guys, it is your boy Clouds back again with another video, and today we're starting off by bringing back the fruit review series and reviewing the first new fruit of update 4 that I've done, Gum Gum. Now it's been a while since I've had Gum Gum. I've actually haven't had Gum Gum since the beginning of the update, so this will be a little interesting, but basically we're going to go over some tips, pros and cons of the fruits, show y'all some gameplay strategies, and do a little showcase move, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Let's get right into it, boys. Alright y'all, so as y'all heard from the beginning, we did eat Gum Gum, and this is the first time I've had Gum Gum in actually a little bit of time. So I am a little excited to use it, and just like always with the fruit review, we're going to be going over, you know, showcase, tips and tricks, pros and cons, show y'all some gameplay while going over some tips, and then, you know, we'll give it a conclusion and a rating at the end. That's just generally how my fruit reviews go. So starting off with the showcase, first we have Gum Gum Pistol. It is basically just a really quick move that comes out. It's kind of like the Pika Kick or Hiken of this fruit. Comes out really quick, has basically no cooldown, so you can spam it. Now the trick to landing this is not hitting your opponent like this, but you want to hit the ground near your opponent like so. This is not a move that you want to use relying on damage, but it is a move that you get for chip damage after an M1 combo. So you can do something like this. So go for that. Go for pistol. I did miss it there, but you guys, I promise you, you can land it like this, like that. Now it can be perfect block that way depending on how fast the opponent is. However, 9 times out of 10 it does land because of how quick it comes out. It literally basically has like no startup. It does have a little bit of startup on it, but you know, that all depends on really how fast you press it. Now the next move is probably one of the most useless moves in this fruit. The only use I would say this is good for is for avoiding an ult. Basically with Balloon you take half the amount of damage as you would without it, and you cannot hold it forever. It does automatically deflate after a certain amount of time, but like I said, I really wouldn't use this unless you don't have Rokushiki and you don't want to take an ult. That's the only real reason I would say you should use that. Next move does have its uses. It's kind of like a miniature Flash Smash or Pika Flight, although not as good. It is Gum Gum Rocket. Good for closing distances or good for getting away and dodging certain moves. A lot of people sleep on this move, however, it does have its uses, you know, and it's kind of fun to use, I ain't gonna lie. Next one, Gum Gum Bazooka. It is a very fast guard break. The range on it is pretty good. The cooldown is a bit long, and the damage is also relatively solid. You can land a bazooka just by off of a simple M1 combo, unless your opponent has TP dash and TP dash is left or right, then you're gonna have to guess where the TP dash, but you could do something like this and go for that. Now it can be PB'd, however, again, that's just all up to your opponent. Next move, which is probably what Gum Gum is known for, and that is Gatling. Gum Gum Gatling is probably one of the most deadly moves in this entire kit, and the reason that is because you can land it off of a simple up tilt combo. You're just gonna have to jump when you do it. Other than that, this is a really solid move. This is literally known for people just putting all their points into fruit and then just spamming Gatling, because then you're going to be dealing like 20 per Gatling. So it is a really solid move. However, there's one downside to Gatling. If you're too close to your opponent, by the time your Gatling is over, they will be able to punish you. So what I recommend is when you're using Gatling, you walk away while you're using it, and by the time you're done with it, you'll be far enough away till they won't be able to hit you. So yeah, there's that. The last move on Gum Gum's kit is Gum Gum Rifle. Just a simple ult. It's basically like Rokushiki, except it has less range than Rokushiki. Has about the same knockback as Rokushiki. However, I think it has less ragdoll than Rokugan. So that is one thing to note. Overall, Gum Gum does have a fairly balanced kit. While not being the best, it is a pretty solid kit, you know, like not really too much complaints. Gum Gum Pistol and Bazooka are good chip damage combo extenders after a simple M1 combo. We all know Gum Gum Gatling, how that works. You know, we all know how that goes. Typical, you know, cheese, just go up tilt into Gatling. That is an easy way to get a bunch of damage, but, you know, it is not the greatest move as well. Overall, this kit is not, like, you know, inherently overpowered or bad by any means. But the one thing that Gum has as its advantage is future updates. So that is definitely a plus. Okay guys, getting into the tips and gameplay part of the portion. First off, I don't really recommend using Gomu with Rokushiki like I am right here. I just feel like Rokushiki does not have as much synergy with Gomu as Blackleg does. Blackleg has a lot to offer to Gomu, having Collier, Anti-Manner, Party Table Kick, and so much more. I just feel like Blackleg and Gomu go so well together. Although I did not feel like going over to get Blackleg just for the sake of this, it still works very well. Now, weapons you should use with Gomu, I feel like. Crab Cutlass is a given. You can use Kraken Greatsword as well. Trident also works very well. Those are the main ones that I know of. I'm not sure if any other weapons work well with it. But another tip I can give you guys is try to play patient with Gomu. Gomu doesn't really have that many tools to be as aggressive, and I wouldn't really try to blindly use moves. Gomu has a little bit of long cooldowns, to be honest to you, and being patient is probably the best way you're going to get a dub with Gomu. Don't get overly aggressive, don't use moves that you know aren't going to land. Only use a move if you can guarantee it. Like I said earlier, 5M1s into pistol is a really good chip damage combo, as well as 5M1s into bazooka. What I like to do is I like to do 5M1 up tilts into bazooka, kind of throws them off, and sometimes you can snag a block break that way as well. Another thing I like to do with Crab Cutlass, I'll go up tilt into Cutlass ladder, and I'll do a Kirby Slam, and then I'll do a bazooka that way, which kind of guarantees me a bazooka in a way. So it is a very nice way to kind of guarantee me that bazooka. Another thing is, two different playstyles you can do with this. You can either use Gomu as a secondary fruit and use your M1s as main damage, which is what I'm doing right now, or you can rely on Gomu with fruits and get your main source of damage from Gomu Gatling. Now, I don't really recommend playing like this because then you're kind of relying 100% on that Gatling and playing around that Gatling. I don't think that is the best way to play Gomu, because someone can easily just, play around by that, play more passive. Also, sometimes the Gatling doesn't always land correctly when you do the up tilt Gatling, because sometimes for whatever reason, jump just doesn't work. So I really recommend you guys do the best build I would say you should do with Gomu is Blackleg, Cutlass, and Gomu, and using Gum as a secondary. I wouldn't really put too much points into Gum. I would mainly put most of my points in M1s. Whether you want to do Sword M1s or Blackleg M1s, that's up to you, but that's the build I recommend you guys use with Gomu. Some more tips I can give you guys, and this is kind of like a little bit more on an advanced level. I would take advantage of Rocket. Like, I don't really take advantage of Rocket as much in these matches, or at least at all. I don't think I use it at all in these matches. But there's a lot of ways you can use Rocket to maneuver around and avoid and, combo extend. I don't know about combo extend, but you can definitely use them to avoid and maneuver around combos and moves and stuff like that. And yeah, pretty much other than that, there's not much else I can say other than just like small stuff. Like whenever you get a PB, like how I am right now, pretty much just take advantage of that Gatling, take advantage of other moves. I would definitely use the ult. I know a lot of people think ults are cringe, but the ult on Gomu is not that good to consider it being cringe, and it is useful. When you land an ult, if they hit a wall, you land some other moves alongside it. And the last thing I can say to wrap up this tips and gameplay is my boy Chase Nader. He's got a complete Blackleg Gomu combo guide. I would really recommend you guys watch that. It does go in depth and show a lot of combos you can do with Blackleg and Gomu. Like I said earlier, Blackleg and Gomu go really well together, and that is honestly really the best tip I can give you. Try out Blackleg Gomu. It is very nice. Like, they go together like bread and butter, boys. But alright, that's gonna wrap up the tips. If I left out anything that you guys think I should mention, let me know in the comments below. But let's get into the next portion. Okay, so getting into the pros and cons of Gomu. There's a little bit of both, but we're going to start off with the pros. First pro is decent mobility. With Rocket and everything, this fruit actually has some decent mobility like that. You can maneuver around a little bit, I would say. Not nothing crazy, but it is nice to have, having that mobility. That means you have more versatility, which is also another pro. Versatility with different fighting styles, like probably Gomu two-sword style because of the mobility. Might not be too bad, you feel me? So there are some versatility in how you can play this as well, which, like I said, is another pro. You can either play this as an M1 main, or you can, go fruit main and go dummy damage. Next one I would say is low stamina drain. This fruit does not take much stamina drain, apart from Gatling. Every single move, as you can see, does not take that much stamina. So that is definitely a plus. Not very much stamina drain. Let's see how much the ult takes right here as well. Not much. Gatling is really the only one that takes a lot, as it's a barrage and you have to hold it like this, so you know it really makes sense that it takes a lot. Next pro, I would say easy to pick up, easy to execute combos. There are not very many combos, which we're going to talk about that later in the cons, but the combos that you do have are very easy to execute, you know, not very difficult at all, I would say. And then the last pro, or like the last important one I'm going to talk about, is future stuff. Now what I mean by that is gears are going to come out in the future eventually, which will really boost not only the value but how good Gomu is. Gomu right now for its base is pretty solid. Like it's not insane, but I would say this is a solid mid-tier fruit. So it is definitely a safe choice to go for both PvP and grinding, which is another pro. It's very good for grinding. Not bad at all for grinding if you ask me, bro. Very solid. You can solo dungeons with this. Bosses are easy with Gatling. Not a bad fruit to have, if you ask me. Okay guys, so getting off in the cons of Gomu, and there are quite a few cons that I personally came up with. Now, I'm only really listing the main cons to Gomu, I would say right now. But the first one is, like I said earlier, not many combo routes. Because of the nature of this fruit and the way it is, high knockback on basically every move other than Gatling, it's really difficult to use combos. So in most cases, Gomu is used as combo enders rather than combo extenders. Unless you get like a, you know, block break with Bazooka, even then it'll be hard to execute because of how much knockback Bazooka has. Like look at this right here. Has very long knockback right there. So that is definitely a con, I would say, because not having that many combo routes is a little tough. There's not really much you can do with Gomu unless you have Blackleg, which Blackleg does open a good amount of combos you're able to do. So next con I would say is low range on the moves, not mobility. Now Gomu pistol is really the only one I would say is like medium range. Like it's kind of like medium range right here, as you guys can see, a little bit long. Bazooka is not nearly as long, as you guys can see, literally basically about half that. And Gatling, obviously really short range. Rifle, kind of short range as well. Big pro, I mean big con, not pro, definitely not a pro. That is a big con because, you know, you're not really going to be able to play a medium distance game. You're going to have to play a close range game. That paired up with the fact that there's not really much combo routes is a little difficult. Next con, this is only really going to excel in 1v1s. This fruit is at a huge disadvantage in team-based games. Which brings me to my next con, no AoE. There is literally like no AoE in this move, in this fruit, other than Bazooka. And the only like AoE I guess you could consider is Gatling, but that's only if you get, you know, 2 people in Gatling, which, what are the chances of that happening, right? Next con, Balloon's kind of a little bit of a useless move. I know they had to add it, like what would Gun be without Balloon? But there's just not many uses. More times than not, you're probably going to find yourself forgetting the move even exists. So that is definitely a con. Next thing, moves are easy to avoid. Let's say you're running against someone who is very passive, not really wanting to aggress. It's going to be very difficult to hit them with any of these gun moves. Bazooka, because of its little bit of startup time, it's going to be easy for them to move or maneuver around unless you predict where they're going to go. You're definitely not about to snipe them with pistol unless you a G. And obviously Gatling has very low range, very easy to avoid as well. But yeah, that's pretty much all the cons we got. So yeah, let's get into the conclusion, boys. All right, y'all, conclusion on this fruit. Should you eat this fruit or should you just avoid it? Now, it is in a weird place right now because while it is decent for PvP, it is not the best for PvP, which is why I said this is about a mid-tier fruit earlier. It is a rare, so you shouldn't be expecting too much for it. I feel like a lot of people overrate it just because of that Gatling spam. And trust me, that's only going to work up to a certain degree. If you run into a skilled player, it's going to be really difficult to land that Gatling. And some people, if they live through that Gatling, then what? Then they hit you with their combo and then you're dead, right? Because you put all your points in gum. So you see the dilemma here. It's not really enough just to only say it's really great because of that Gatling. Now, am I saying Gomu's bad? No, Gomu is very solid for PvP. Using it as combo enders is very nice. And it has a decent payout for using it. If I had to rate it, For PvP, I'd probably give it a 6 or 7 out of 10. Like I said, it is a mid-tier fruit in my opinion. Nothing too crazy, but it does have good potential. What I mean by potential is we haven't completely experimented everything Gomu is capable of, and I think it pairs together very well with Blackleg. I don't even know why I'm using it with Roku right now. I just didn't want to go get Blackleg. But I've used it before with Blackleg, and it pairs together really nice. Another thing is, the reason I say it has really good potential is the future. If you hold on to Gomu now and wait for gears to be added, when Gear 2 gets added, Gomu might be like one of the best fruits in the game. Gear 3 as well, Gear 4, you guys get the gist. When gears get added, it's a whole different ballpark. So for that, it opens a lot of potential. Not to mention the potential with Blackleg and other fighting styles that this has as well. Overall, if I had to give it an overall rating, I'd probably give it like maybe like a 7 out of 10 as well. Just because it has a really good balance between PvP and PvE. It's solid for both. You know, you can't really go wrong with this fruit. Has, you know, the qualities you would need to do good in a 1v1 as the qualities you would need for it to do good in PvE. So, you know, a solid fruit to go around, you know, not nothing crazy, but it's not, you know, bad either by any means. And that's kind of my opinion on it. That's kind of where base Gomu stands. Has flaws, but it's solid. It'll get you where you need to be. Very solid fruit to, you know, eat if you're a beginner or a new player, or if you're just starting to get in PvP. Anyways, I digress. It's been your boy Clouds. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.